Good afternoon. My name's Rory Plint. I'm the Middle East Africa MVP lead, and I look after the MVP program for Microsoft. Today, I'll be talking to Willie Roberts, which is a community leader, and he heads up communities in South Africa. That's technical communities. Morning, Willie.
Morning.
Right, so before we dig into it and talk around the communities in the country, I'll probably dig a little bit deep into yourself. I want to learn a little bit about the person. Could you give me an indication of how you got involved? I mean, because I don't think you were in this from birth, and some of the experiences you've had getting into technical communities in South Africa.
Correct, Rory. I've been in IT for about 13 years now, and about 2 years ago I was approached by a local community to head up the KZN region, which had slowly died down over a period of time. And through continuous engagement and talking to the communities, I got more and more into it. To a point where I've actually started enjoying it, and communities have become part of my passion and my goal in my everyday life. So it was pretty much, I kind of grew into it, I would say, over a period of time through engaging with the communities, understanding what the community is about, and also being passionate about the industry that we're in and passionate about the technologies that we deal with on a regular basis.
Right, so I noticed communities, I mean, these are voluntary-based communities from what I can see. So this actually means you have a real job.
Correct.
You actually have a job that, well, I suppose pays your money because you're not getting it from communities. How do you find that in terms of balance with life and the employees and the impression that they give you around the value of your communities? And it must be quite a hard sell into the industry in South Africa.
It is a challenge. It's a massive challenge, especially in South Africa, where we are facing equating everything to a financial factor. So community work is an extremely, you have to be passionate about it. It is extremely hard. You have to speak to sponsors. You have to speak to people on a continuous basis. Finding balance is hard. Your families tend to suffer. It takes a lot of your time because you cannot do this between 8 and 5. It is everything that happens after 5 or even on weekends. Getting yourself to events like TechEd, getting yourself into companies and trying to get them interested in communities. So it is a big challenge, but through engaging and just showing the type of people and characters we are, we tend to be able to convince people to come. And the satisfaction comes out of having a crowd of people sitting in front of you. For example, we do talks with students at DUT. When you have 225 students engaged for 5 hours, there's a level of satisfaction that you as a lead also receive when you walk out of there and you suddenly realize all these people have the same level of passion and excitement that you have over the industry. And that also helps our growth and our ability to grow.
That's interesting. I just picked up on that. I mean, it really sounds as though there's an entity, this entity of community. I mean, it really intrigues me. You speaking around having people in front of you, you speak around universities. Now you've picked an interesting topic for me. I mean, I love education. It's starting to show that voluntary-based systems like communities have a lot of value. What kind of messaging could we give CEOs of companies to say, this is a value of communities? I mean, come and join us, and how can they engage to help drive out these activities and the kind of value they would see from them?
A simple and easy way is sponsorships. Getting companies to realize by sponsoring and putting their names in communities, being available to get the exposure. Yes, again, academia, a big space where they can gain the fruits from that in getting their names out to potential possible employees in the future. For existing communities, the ability for their staff and their employees to get up to scratch with the latest technologies, understanding what's going on. In the community space I play in, which is mainly Microsoft, we introduce products like Silverlight, we introduce products like SharePoint, and we push products for Microsoft and introduce companies to them and explain to them how to do this. We do various work around those, and also bringing academia up to scratch to what new technologies and products and stuff is going. For the sponsors, they get their name out there. They can, we get funded. All of this is free, so we get funded by companies, and none of us actually take anything home at the end of the day, apart from our involvement. So for them, it is pretty much exposure and engagement, meeting people, getting their name out there, and understanding more about people.
It's interesting you say none of us take anything home. I mean, I'm sure you you have a fiance, and I'm sure that's quite challenging. It must take a special kind of person to actually go into this and get involved in home life, work life, engaging with big partners, and also have time to build groups of people developing and experiencing code and growing themselves. I mean, you're busy making other people successful. it must take a really special kind of person with a special need. I mean, tell us a little bit about how that would be. I mean, what kind of person are we looking at? Can anyone get into this?
It is open to anyone. To be in the community, you need to have a word you love using, DNA. You need a special DNA thread in you to do it. You need to be able to engage. You need to be comfortable with people. We're very privileged. Microsoft, they recognize community leads. They recognize people making significant contributions in the space through the MVP award. And that helps because it keeps on building those communities. It keeps on building those people. From a character perspective, passion is a big thing. Willingness to offer up your time. From a family perspective, yes, huge support. What a lot of the leads do is we do get our families involved. They didn't ask for us to be public people. They didn't ask to be there. But we try and get them involved. We try and get them interested in it. And the same with our communities. With our communities, we're also involved. The MVP award has been great in South Africa, especially because we've got such a wide range of MVPs. So engaging them in the communities and starting building teams around the different communities. We're now at a point in South Africa where we're amalgamating communities into one big scope because of what we can achieve through this. So yes, there is a special DNA involved in doing it, and you grow into it. It's not something you just automatically start doing one morning. It takes a period of time and it takes hard work. And you learn. Every day we do this, we learn more and more about people.
You're talking about learning there and moving on. We have a lot of program. I head up the MVP program, which is a unique bunch of people. And I got a lot of time for your communities, and we look at that and we engage with them. And the MVPs are generally community folk. But we haven't sort of discussed, and you touched on it around the way you evolve and amalgamate, the life cycle of a community. Let's take SA Developer, for example. I mean, you came into that. That was started many years ago in South Africa. From what I understand, it's on the 4th management recycle and still going. Yeah. That's a success story of note. How do they keep up with that? How do they address? What about the pains when you start? Is there anything we can talk around that in terms of getting going and not losing motivation in terms of getting your communities up and running?
I think, again, passion becomes a big thing and a belief in success. SA Developer is a very special success story. You particularly headed it up initially, and yes, it has reached its 4th level. There's various other success stories like that as well. We've got SA Architect, which is on its 2nd revision. The nice thing about the communities is once you've established them and once we've gone through the pains of learning how to do them, the communities do evolve. We do change around the market. We change around the people that run it. We have a huge amount of people that show interest. And community leads as such grow out of these. Challenges we face, again, sponsorship is a big thing. Getting people involved, getting people interested. That's the challenges we face. And once we've got the sponsorships, running monthly events, doing online stuff, being a tech ed, being speakers, what's nice for SA Developer is SA Developer for South Africa has become a speaker platform where a lot of the tech ed speakers in South Africa that we use as well come out of the SA Developer realm, they come out of the SA Architect realm. And these are our product experts at the end of the day. So from that perspective, that is how SA Developer grow. We see year after year a new generation of people hitting the community, a new generation of technologies being done. And from that, the branches off. SA Developer has been the platform for exchange communities, for BizTalk communities, IT Pro. We've had so many spin-offs from SA Developer and new communities starting, information worker. So people have picked up on that, and there's even product spaces being investigated as far as communities are concerned.
So I think from my perspective, we've touched on really more the soft side and the DNA side and technical side. And I was actually going to ask you what was the current footprint of communities in South Africa, and you've really touched on that in the last question. So that is really, really great. From my side, to the audience out there, if they were looking at becoming a community person, all right, Mr. Community, the next Mr. Community, what would your advice be to young, upcoming technical people that want to get into sharing knowledge and community type activities?
I would say engage. Engagement is the key. Make yourself available, take up your time, be at the events, make yourself visible, become an expert in a product and talk about it. Be passionate about it, love it, and make it your own. And that kind of leads you to becoming that person.
Thanks, man. You've influenced me, but then I'm easily influenced. No, I love communities, and thank you for your time. I hope that this goes out and we see a lot more people getting involved in the communities. It will be really great to see this grow and South African IT taking the next step. Thank you very much, Willie.